Hi, it's Michael from Fujifilm, and thanks for joining me. Hey, you may have heard the advertising slogan that goes, "You've read the book, and now see the movie." And since Fujifilm came out with the GFX line of cameras, they've been very popular with professional and amateur photographers for its resolution, color reproduction, dynamic range, and in particular the GFX 102, our current flagship model, also has fantastic video capabilities, and it has been used in quite a bit of television and feature film production. So one of the things about our GFX cameras that is a standout and makes them different is this unique 4x3 very large format sensor. So here you're looking at that large 4x3 sensor and Fujifilm's G mount for lenses, but hey, that is on the new GFX ETERNA 55 cinema body. That's right, this one right here. Now you can see, hey, it's not that heavy. It's not that large. If I put the GFX 102 next to it, and line them up, you can see it's really not that much bigger than the GFX 102. Okay, now, it is based on the same sensor. However, there are some important differences. For one, GFX ETERNA 55 has something called an optical low-pass filter, OLPF. GFX 102 and none of the other GFX cameras have that because they are optimized for ultimate sharpness. They're all about resolution for still photography primarily, but you don't always want razor ultimate sharpness for cinematic purposes because that kind of takes away from that dreamy quality that cinematographers and directors want. So the OLPF helps make everybody look a little bit better. Secondly, the sensor has in front of it a variable ND, an electronically variable ND that goes from 2 stops up to 7 stops, or 0.6 to 2.1, depending on which way you like to phrase it. And if you look here, as I control that with this outdoor shot, you can see it's really smooth and it's variable in 1/20th of a stop increments. So it's virtually seamless as it goes from 0.6 to 2.1. One of the other important things that makes GFX ETERNA 55 different from the other GFX cameras is it will record video in full open gate. 4x3 open gate. That means full height and width, not just full width. This opens up a whole world of possibilities when it comes to optical choice, and also gives us lots of ways that we can crop the image from going to open gate down smaller and smaller and give you all kinds of different resolutions and aspect ratios to suit your project needs. That 1.33 aspect ratio also is especially handy for anamorphic purposes. So if you take a 2x anamorphic squeeze lens, with the 1.33, it naturally de-squeezes to a 2.66 to 1 aspect ratio, super wide. But then you could use a 1.8 squeeze lens or a 1.5 squeeze lens, and you end up with different widths. That's really incredibly handy. On the back of the camera is a whole array of ins and outs. There is a standard HDMI, there is a BNC connector for 12G SDI, there's also timecode in, Genlock in, there's an Ethernet port, there's audio and headphone in, and there's also a 4-pin port for the AC power adapter that comes with the camera. The native power mount on the back is a V-lock, but it's easily adaptable for gold mount. Now if you look on the sides, you'll see there's the 2 sub-monitors on each side that give you the views to the menu screens, and those 2 sub-monitor screens are mirrored on both sides, and also they are independently lockable. Now around those sub-monitor screens are 6 shortcut buttons that take you to the most common things that people like to change, like frame rate, shutter angle, ISO, white balance, and the ND. You can also set up user presets to assign those buttons to things that you want to do on your own. There are other function buttons around the camera similar to what we have on our still cameras as well. On the front of the camera, there is this large control knob, and you see it's labeled for ND and then FZI. I'll get to the FZI in a minute, but ND means you can control that ND from this front wheel to be able to roll it up and down, or you can of course just set a pre-assigned value to it from the side. On the top of the camera, you have the 3/8 and 1/4 inch standard threaded holes for adding all kinds of accessories, and there's this dovetail that runs down the middle. Along with the camera, you will get this top handle that slides back and forth in that dovetail, and it's a multifunctional handle. It does have 3/8 and 1/4 inch threads here as well, but it has a zoom rocker, it has a joystick, it has a start-stop button, and it also has one of those control knobs up here. Also included with the camera is a 5-inch 2000 nit brightness LCD screen that has touchscreen functions and has multiple function buttons on the side as well, and it comes with this mounting bracket. On the side of the body, so down here are the memory card slots for CF Express Type B and SD, but the door at the top reveals an NPW235 battery, the same as we use in many of our other cameras. What's great about that is that battery gets continuously topped off by the large V-mount or gold mount on the back, which means when those batteries run out and you need to hot swap, the camera can stay running. We don't have to turn it off, and that saves a lot of time, and that's something that professional productions really care about. Now, I did mention the G-mount in the front for the lenses because we have so many fantastic GF lenses available. This gives you the option to have autofocus when you want it. Also included with the camera is our PL adapter. So it has Cook eye pins at the top to pass lens data, and this goes into that G mount and it gets cinched in really tight with the lens lock lever at the top, and you can also bolt it in right to the front of the camera with a bracket if you choose to. There are LPL adapters available from other third-party makers. That brings me to another announcement of the Fujinon 32 to 90mm t3.5 PZOIS WR lens. Yes, WR, it is weather resistant. A very handy thing to have when you're out doing productions anywhere around the world in any kind of conditions you might run into, right? OIS, yes, this lens has optical image stabilization. Again, a very useful feature for handheld work. And PZ stands for power zoom. So as you can see, this has full cinema build with wide rotation rings and hard stops, very smooth movements. But the PZ means it has internal motors to be able to control those functions from the camera if you want. That's what those two control knobs are for on the front of the body and on the handle that have FIZ labeled. You'll be able to focus from that knob. You'll be able to zoom from that knob, or you'll be able to zoom from that top handle rocker. You'll also be able to control the iris. But if you want to use external motors, it's very easy because we have 0.8 M gear rings for focus and zoom and iris, which are motion picture industry standard. And so thank you for joining me on this quick overview of our new cinema products. We will return to GFX ETERNA 55 in a later episode for a deeper dive into menus and features. See you next time.